In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to be, honorable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics. In linguistics, we have commenced the chapter that is known as translation studies. Listeners and audience, today I'm going to teach you another theory and translation that is known as Skopos theory. What is Skopos theory? Who introduced this theory? What is the basic purpose and message of this theory and how it is different from other theories and translation? Listeners and audience, first of all, we talk about Nida theory of translation, which talk about mostly formal equivalence and dynamic equivalence. Formal equivalence means literal translation, dynamic equivalence means sense for sense translation. The basic purpose of the theory was whenever a message can be conveyed in a better way in a literal translation, it should be translated in the same way. However, if the message is not translated like idioms and metaphorical words, then it should be based on formal equivalence. It would be based on dynamic equivalence. After that, we talk about another theory, and that was Catford theory. Catford mainly focus was on linguistics because he looked at the translation based on scientific perspective, and then he said that translation is not one level. It is not just word to word translation. It has various levels, and whenever we translate a text from source text into the target, then we can identify the level. Sometimes it is like, for example, structure shift, sometimes it is class shift, sometimes it is unit shift, and also yesterday and day before yesterday we discussed level shift. Today I am talking about Skopos theory. Listeners and audience, Skopos theory, this Skopos word is derived from the Greek language, the Greek word skopos, which means purpose. And this theory was introduced by Hans Vermeer in the late 1970s. This theory is different from the previous two theories. However, some of the points support the previous theories as well. However, this theory has given more freedom to the translators. For example, first of all, the theory is talking about purpose. That the purpose of the translation is to convey a message. It means when a translator translates a text, he has a purpose. His purpose is to convey a message from the source text into the target text. However, the purpose can be to translate, for example, a storybook, to translate literary book, or to translate religious or legal text. So he has various views regarding that. Whenever he is talking about, for example, translation, he says that translation must be according to the needs of the target users, target language users. What does it mean? It means that a translation must be in a way which could fulfill the needs and the requirements of the target language users. For example, he is talking about, first of all, the children's storybook. He says that whenever a translator translates a book, that is specifically for the children. So when he translates it from the source text into the target, then according to the needs, he must translate that text. Like there will be easy words, understandable words, so much so that the children could understand. If there are difficult words and he translates the same, so the children will not understand. So the need, and according to their need, it's very important. Similarly, when he's talking about legal and religious text, legal text mean related to the court, decision, contract, and religious text, he said it must be faithful. It must be literal. Why? Because if there is a little change in the religious text or in the legal, so then the man message can be changed. So he is very restricted to legal and religious text, that it must be faithful, it must be formal, as well as literal. Whenever he is talking about advertisement, he said the purpose of advertisement is to persuade, to convince. And that's why whenever we translate advertisement, it must be persuasive, catchy, attractive, even if the original message is a bit changed. Because the purpose of advertisement is to attract the people. And simplification is talking about sometimes, for example, the text is very lengthy. So when we translate according to him a lengthy text from the source text into the target, even we can simplify the text so much so that the main message could convey. So if the main message is conveyed from this lengthy text, so it is proper and it's also good to translate that lengthy text into the simplified form. So he said that sometimes simplification in the translation is important. And the last one in the theory is talk about form and meaning. He says that meaning is more important than form. Meaning is more important than structure. If you translate a text from the source text into the target, if the message is conveyed in a better way, for example, if from the source text into the target, even the structure is changed, no problem, that should be translated, even if the structure is changed, because message, the intended meaning in message is important. What are the further perspectives of this theory? We will discuss in the later and upcoming lectures. Thank you.